Can we transition to this next topic because it's so important?
What? It better be Will and Jada.
Can we really get into it?
My.
Because
who wants to go first?
I'll start.
You.
Okay.
Possible. Look, if you really watch that interview, that Red Table Talk, if you listen to the emphasis that Will put on, no, I kicked you to the curb. No, I was done. Like he was very adamant about their relationship being over, and I think that's the piece that everybody is missing. Everybody's thinking like Jada just went out and cheated. No, Will was like, nah, bro, straight. And Jada came back like, hold on though. And she brought August with her. Like, you know how like you find like a little puppy in the street and he hungry and real skinny and ain't nobody feeding him. He got the lashes on. Like, that's what it was. And they tried to nurture him and they put him in treatment programs. And because, you know, he was on the pills bad. A bunch of people was just dying around him. So I understand it. But you go into a place and he ended up falling in love with somebody that was giving him attention. And nobody really want to speak to that point. Like, I seen a couple interviews where people were saying like they felt like Jada took advantage of him. I don't think that she took advantage, but I think that they both needed that. When you're not getting attention at home because your husband is one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, and he's not getting attention because all his people dead. And then y'all end up giving each other attention. Y'all end up sharing moments like that. The relationship starts to build, and she really just shut him down. Like, nah, this ain't what you think it is. And now he out here, and he been dedicating songs for the last 3 years to her. But Will was very adamant, and I believe that he said, I am going to get you back. And he meant it.
Oh, he's very serious about that.
He's so serious.
That Simone, you go. I want to hear yours. I'll reserve mine. You go.
Okay, I'll go ahead because I know somebody's gonna say something to just throw it the other way. But I'm really frustrated with some of the coverage of this on Alsina's part. So like Refinery 29 is a really popular website. They were dissecting this situation. They said, you know, even though people's love lives are none of their business, they said, quote, August Alsina's decision to speak on his experience was for his mental health. He suffered many traumas over the course of his life and chronic illnesses, and his separation from Jada was just like the tip of this iceberg. And he said, quote, this is affecting my life and my well-being, and I really have no choice but to express my truth. So that's where I have the biggest issue with this. Because I know in this generation right now, there's like a my truth and a your truth and a his truth and a her truth. But I wasn't brought up that way. I think what you're basically doing is speaking on somebody's bedroom. You're speaking on their body. You know what I mean? You're putting somebody out there like, if they're not ready to be out the closet and you drag them out the closet, that's disrespectful. So to me, I feel like it's a selfish act. And I feel like he really showed his age in this entire situation by even opening his mouth and opening that door because he's 20 something, right? He was a kid. He is a kid, but he was definitely a kid then. And in my mind, we've seen this situation so many times before. Somebody's young, they date somebody older, they feel like, oh man, this grown woman is giving me this level of attention. You just young, boy. You just young. Like feelings get hurt when you do that because you playing a game with somebody who's got way more cards than you. So there's no way for the situation to end. You're not equipped to really play this game. And so it's cute when it's cute, just like it's cute if there's like a 20-year-old girl and a 50-year-old man. But at the end of the day, he ain't sweating you. And I really feel like that's like a rule number one sort of a thing. I don't know how he didn't know that. I don't know why he thought he was special in that case. Like, I really feel like he put people's business out there who have been doing a pretty good job of not speaking on it for decades. And now it's just out there. And to watch that interview was very painful for me because you see Will Smith, who's like, you know, a surrogate virtual father figure, you know, for me and for a lot of African Americans my age, like, you know, and you see him sitting across this table like, messy ass. Like,
he wanted to
you
give
got sitting at this table.
But he said,
like basically, like, why couldn't you have been better with your NDAs or been better with, you know, why'd you have to be messy with it? Because now I got to sit here, you know, your shit then brought us here. So that's what I got from that, and I feel that pain, and I believe that was.
He said, "I told you." He told her. He said, "I told you. I told you."
So that's where I stand. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because I believe the community benefits. Go ahead.
I appreciate Will and Jada for being so transparent. I really do. I do because they did not have to do this. They did not have to broadcast this for the whole world to see. One, I feel like this situation, they said it was years ago. And August just recently brought it back 4 years ago. And August just recently brought it back up. They have moved on. They are quote unquote stronger than they've ever been. August I said this before we started, August had an album that was coming out, publicity stunt. I feel as though if he wanted to say something for his mental health, I agree with Simone. He shouldn't have just said it. I feel like he should have went to them first and said, hey, I got an interview coming up and I want to speak on this. And he didn't even have to get their approval. I feel like he could have just told them so they could at least brace themselves because the internet shut down. As far as how I see them, this for sure makes me want to stop putting celebrity couples on a pedestal. Like everybody says, oh, Will and Jada are goals, or Jay-Z and Beyonce are goals. Now Quavo and Sweetie are goals. All of that is crap. Nobody's relationship is perfect, and it makes me not even want to get married. To be honest with you, I'm 25 and I have no aspirations to get married. Because bad marriage for life. What is that? No.
Wait, what? Whoa. Okay.
No.
So y'all have like this.
What do you say?
It's interesting to me that the three of y'all have three different outlooks on this. So that's really interesting because I thought at least two of y'all would be aligned. And I guess Simone and Kyle kind of are, but y'all kind of have three different outlooks on it. So I have a couple of things with this. Number one, and this kind of goes to Kyle. This is when controlling your narrative goes wrong. Like Will and Jada have been known for controlling their narrative. I'm starting to really hate the word transparency because that word is starting to have the same concept around it as being real did for a number of years. So they've been very transparent about the fact that they're pretty much in essence kind of swingers and they kind of do what they do and this is what it is. And from there, we kind of took it like, okay, well, you guys have this, I don't want the open marriage, but y'all are kind of fluid when it comes to including people or being all-inclusive. Whatever you guys decide works for you in that season, you do it. And we took it and we kind of was like, okay, cool. Then Jada does the red table talk, which then turns her into kind of like an Ayanla. And people were just kind of like, well, wow, we didn't know Jada could do that. So now we're at this point where, okay, like you said, Jada's not perfect. And their marriage is not perfect. Now, when it comes to August, I'm just like, I agree with Simone. Because it's like, okay, bro, this is not how we do things in an older generation. You don't just kind of throw stuff out there as it pertains to the boudoir and think it's okay. Because now, not only have you destroyed other folks' lives in the meantime, now you put people in a position, and I think Derek said it, or maybe Simone, I agree. When you watch the interview with Will kind of has this look on his face like, so now I got to deal with this crap. Like, you did this, but now I got to be here and he kind of said that on the red table when he was talking. He was like, well, so now it's out there, so now we kind of got to address it, so let's start here. On the other side, I also do feel like Jada's behavior was kind of predatory. You have adamantly said this young man came to you looking for help and that he needed X, Y, Z. She continuously says that. So how do you, and I understand what you're saying, Derek, but it's no different than when I had phase 2 and I had all these mentees and some of those mentees were attracted. They were younger than me, but they were attracted. What do I look like getting involved with them? Knowing they're in my charge to be taken care of and looked after. What do I look like getting involved with them? Now I understand what you're saying about how.
So what do you have to say, Derek? Like I haven't heard what Derek's had to say about that. What do you have to say about the power dynamic? The power dynamic.
We can look at it as a power dynamic, but it's the same thing that when a powerful man meets a dancer. Like, I don't have to be here.
No.
I don't have to choose you.
No.
But in real life, when somebody is made to feel better by making other people feel better, you see that both of them are broken. She didn't say that, but Jada is a broken person. And the last red table where Jada and Will spoke about their relationship, she said that. She said that Will's ambition to be the best in the world broke their relationship. And it broke her because she was left by herself. You got to remember, Willow was on tour, Jaden was on tour. When a woman that has been with a man that long and made to feel like we are the most powerful, and then Will is like, nah, I'm this. That's why she's doing Red Table.
But let me ask you this though. But let me ask you this before you go to the point about their dynamic, because what about the situation of like a counselor and a patient? Because a mental health counselor can lose their whole license if they call themselves getting romantic with the patient. Like, you're supposed to respect the idea that this person needs help. This person's a vulnerable person. So there's a boundary there for, you know, those ethical reasons.
Yeah, but you're talking about
and Jada changed the game.
Their job
but Jada changed the game. Yes, but Jada changed the game when she started doing Red Table Talk, because then she kind of put herself in a space like Ayala and all of them where she's supposed to be helping people. And I understand that she's broken, but I mean, most of that do therapy and stuff, they have their own issues. But the point is, you don't get entangled with the people you're supposed to be helping. Point blank thinker. That's just what it is. So you say that August needed all this help and he was broken, and when he came to me and Will, you know, we want to help him. You don't get to have it both ways.
You don't get to help him with your pussies, what you don't get to do. You can't use your pussy to help that boy.
But I understand.
Really, come on.
I do understand. We got to remember, Jada not Ayami, her life isn't that. Like, when somebody's life work is to help people, that's something totally different. She just so happened to stumble into this because she was working on herself. And she said it. I'm working on making me better, and I met somebody that also wants to be better. Will was like, girl, I'm gonna jump off. I'm going to Budapest. And she was like, okay, so what I'm supposed to do? And August was like, I mean, I could sing to you. And then
Really?
That's
what you come up with.
Hey, look, I can't say what I really want to say. I'm keeping it PG right now.
Yeah, you better not. So okay, so here's my thing. That's where we're gonna go with this. So here's the problem for me, because, and Kyle kind of said it when he was saying that you know, we kind of idolize couples, and I think we all understand why we do that, because we all really do want to believe in love, and we really do want to believe that for those of us, I would say myself, who know at some point we're going to be that big, we want to believe that love is possible and that we can be with somebody and be committed and we have the same level of ambition, all those things. So my concern with this is, when Jada and Will got together, I don't want to say they were equal career-wise, but Jada was doing her thing outright when she met Will. So to say that the dynamic has changed so dramatically that now she feels like she's left at home and can't do anything, that's an issue for me, because it's not like she can't. Jada Pinkett Smith, even if she didn't use Jada Pinkett, was a force to be reckoned with in her day. Hawthorne, I don't like Woo, but Hawthorne, Woo, you know, all these other things. And she just did Girl Trip a couple of years ago, which kind of propelled her back into the limelight. So to say that you felt left out when you are holding cards, that does not fly with me. That doesn't fly with me. And she's
a musician, and I love her music. But here's what I'll say too, is that, like, the reason why this really hurt me so much is because if you've ever been in a situation where there's been cheating, it's like, and it's a real relationship, let alone a marriage with that much built up into it. Cheating is almost like a cancer. So what happens is, like, it seeps into, like, the relationship, and then it just spreads and spreads and spreads, and, like, it becomes something that you always have to deal with. Like, you may be healed for like a couple months or years where it doesn't come up, and then all of a sudden it comes back up. Like, oh my God, like, now I gotta go back to treatment, and then maybe years pass by, everything's fine, and it can come back up. Like, it's like a wound that can kind of always reopen, and you really have to change. You have to change a lot to rebuild trust in a situation. When I was in a previous relationship, not my marriage now, and I was that person, and I was, you know, I wasn't Jada, because I would never mess with nobody that young. But when you're the cheater, you don't get to have a conversation with your partner about that person with such glowing reviews. Like, I was so upset listening to her talk about August Alsina and call him Og, and Og this and Og that. And I don't talk, me and Og haven't spoken in forever, and he's not a homewrecker. I want to make that clear. And,
yes,
you know, well, I could see how he thought it was permission. I could see that. Like, Og, like, are you still messing with this little kid? Like, why are you referring to him like that? Like, when you do that.
She was just a little boy in him. She was hitting him with the little boy, like, hey, little boy. Hey, little boy. Like, that's what it felt like.
Will tried to make a joke in the beginning and say, like, I feel like the politician's wife who's going to the press conference to say, I'm gonna stick by my mate and you're supposed to admit your transgressions. And she said, well, it's not really a transgression. It's part of the journey. I don't even consider it a transgression. You need to consider it it's a transgression. It's a sin. It's a problem. It's a bad thing to do. And I just felt like she was way too light about the whole thing and talk about some entanglements. You was smashing this little boy. That's not like be real and don't sugarcoat it and make it sound all spiritual when it was just sex, and you are pushing 50. And maybe it felt good to your ego that this 20-year-old was messing with you, just like it does in the reverse. When a man is 45 and 50 and he starts kind of, you know, and the little 20-year-old is looking at him, it makes him feel good. It makes him feel young again. So just keep it.
Man, look, she had fun with that little boy.
That's all it was. It's just fun.
She had fun.
Are we really gonna go here?
I just want
my problem. Okay.
Keep it honest. Keep it honest.
That's a given. That's a given. Clearly, she was enjoying herself. Clearly, she told her ego. That's a given.
Cheating, Ricardo. That's not how you handle cheating.
But I personally don't look at it like that. I don't look at it like that because Will said I kicked you to the curb. Like, we broke. Now, granted, they're married, so breaking up not easy like that. Because I meet married couples on a regular basis. There's no way that we can break up and you still live in this house. It don't work like that. They lived in the same house. Mm-hmm. And the problem, this is the thing that made Jada's side look a little way. Y'all brought this boy in the crib. He was in the crib.
Right.
He was now in real life, I believe that in real life, Will really want to do that man dirty. But because he Will Smith, he can't even do him like that. And because their relationship is open, which I don't believe. I don't think
it is clearly.
I don't think that their relationship is open. I think that they might have fun with some cool. You want to have fun with somebody like that? Cool. The swinger thing, I don't believe that, but I do think that they be just out here having fun in these streets, and they put them MDAs on the paper on the table and get them signatures. But in this case, she had fun with this little boy, and he ain't signed that.
He's emotional.
And he fell in love. He wanted to be Pretty Woman, and she was like, "No, I'm straight."
Really?
We're gonna keep it.
I agree. I agree.
That man said, I was torn apart. He said, I was torn apart. He said, I'm still struggling with being better. She got you better. And then she was just like, all right, I'm straight. Like,
I can't feel sorry for him in that, though. I don't feel sorry for him when he said that. I mean, how could you possibly think, even if she says me and Will are done, I would not but let myself believe that I am about to come in between Will and Jada or any married couple. I can't let him.
Thank you, Kyle.
Especially Will Smith. I'm August Alsina. I got one hit. Will Smith's worst movie is better than my one hit. I can't compete.
Let me just ask you, Ricardo, because you said that, we knew they were swinging. I hear that from a few people, and I don't understand why they're saying that, because we knew what the rumors were, and we knew what people had said, and we knew maybe in the back of our minds, but they never addressed, they weren't on the cover of that Essence magazine saying, oh, we're an open, they've never said that. They've always had like a strategic way of presenting themselves, and they've never been like, oh yeah, we do all things, all types, all kinds. They've never said that. So I feel like this is a very big deal that somebody opened their mouths like this. And it's also a big deal that they just went ahead and just admitted to it, because they've never done that before. They never felt the need to, with these rumors. So to me, it's like, clearly they weren't open.
Well, it's a handwriting on the wall type situation. Whenever you saw Will and Jada talking, they were very, especially Will, he was very, what's the word? He was, I don't want to say open, but he was not closed about how fluid they are with their relationship. So, you can kind of denounce from that. It's just kind of like, they always seem to be very fluid, and they always spoke to that terminology. I think what I'm wrestling with now is, especially now that you said what you said about, or maybe it was Derek saying about how Jada felt like, she was left home and so on and so forth, and about Will's ambition. For me as somebody who is an ambitious individual in media, it makes me concerned because I'm like, well, Dad, is this going to always be the price of ambition? The fact that I want to be better for myself, the fact that I want to go the distance, the fact that I want to achieve the purpose in my life, does it become that serious to the point where it will cost me everything? Like, that's how I'm viewing this right now. I'm like, Will has done everything in his power to be the best. And he is the best. He married a woman who, when he married her, she was the best. And she still has a name. It may not be like Will's name, but she still is Jada Pinkett, and people recognize who she is. So the fact that I can't even marry somebody that when we get married, we're on the same level, and we can't stay on that level or find ways to equalize each other, it's like, well, Dad, you just can't win when it comes to a partner if you're ambitious. That's a problem for me.
No.
Like, how is that fair to win?
This is, and I would ask this to Simone because she's married, but there is a clear difference between being alone, like my husband or wife is on the road and they're working and they're a breadwinner, and I am doing my thing, and my husband and wife is on the road and I'm lonely. And I think that without using the words, I think she's used it before in a different Red Table Talk, but Jada was lonely. And I think that when you force your partner in a relationship to be lonely, it leaves doors open for certain things to happen, because they'll try to fill that void. They'll try to get that attention so they don't feel lonely. I'm not saying that it's right, but I am saying that even in regular relationships that happen, it just so happens that she's married to one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. So
she knew that when she married Will, and I don't think it's fair.
But people do change. People do change, and things do change, and maybe it's different when it's been 20 years of the same thing. I mean, it doesn't hit you the same 20 years later as it does after 1 or 2 or 3 years. It may still be cute.
But
she said that in their last year.
It happens. It happened. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that happens. And when you're lonely in a marriage, it's different than being lonely when you're single, because in a marriage you just assume that won't happen. You expect that won't be the case. And so,
right.
but what I will say is, though, that they forgot to play defense. You have to play defense in relationships. It's like, and over time, I do think maybe they just forgot to play defense. But the fact that she said that Will and her let him in to their lives, it's like, you don't bring another queen in a castle. You don't bring another king in a castle. One queen, one castle.
He ain't no king. He a little boy.
You don't do that. I don't even, and even to the extent that like that person doesn't have to be hurting, or you don't have to be hurting, even if everything is peachy. Like my homegirls, they don't spend the night here, right? Like you don't, one queen, one castle. I just feel like they also opened the door. They did, if it was both of them, for something bad to happen.
It was just her. It was just her. Because
she said they.
Will said it. Will said that when we brought this little boy to that, he said little boy. When we brought this little boy home, I was trying to help him. Anything that you did outside of help that we established, that's on you.
And he shouldn't have done it. But he shouldn't have done it.
You're right. I don't argue with that. But some people are like that. That they try to help everybody. And this is the reason, and this has been brought up about Will Smith before, this is the reason why Will has never been like a social life until now on social media. But he has never been like the dude at the party or going to hang out with people, or he's never been that guy. And now we're starting to see why. Because if it's that easy for me to feel like, dang, I want to help you. Dang, I want to help put you. Dang, I'm going to bring you to the house. I'm going to introduce my kids. Because we forget, Willow is 25, 24, something like 20 something.
It was like 19, 20 something.
One of them is 20,
like mid
20 something. I know his oldest son is 27. So imagine you coming home and August Alsina sitting at the table, like, and your mama say, oh yeah, we helping him. We're getting ready to take him to treatment. Your dad, like, yeah, we trying to help the young man. We trying to, and all behind the scenes, mom getting them rocks off, cause young boy, you know what I'm saying? He's singing her to sleep. Like we really got to be honest about that thing.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you in this. This is my ending point on this. I don't feel like, I hear what everybody's saying, but in this scenario, it's not like Jada is some housewife who has no skill set and no name. So for you to say, I felt lonely when there are so many options around you because you are Jada Pinkett, that's just, she's not the average housewife.
But you're talking about professional and personal. Just because she has professional opportunities don't mean she's not lonely.
No, but I just feel like there was another way. I still feel like it boils down to the price for ambition. And I feel like this price is too high for the ambition that Will has, and I don't think it's fair. I just don't. I'm done with it. What we got left, it makes me wonder, like, Dad, when I get to where I'm going, is this the price I'm going to pay?
You're going to have to prioritize your household, Ricardo. You got to prioritize your household. You cannot play games. You cannot think, I'm going to just focus on work and not my marriage. It will crumble. You can't do that.
I don't do stuff like that anyway. You know, if I have,
I'm not ready.
I don't do that now.
They're ready.
Well, I'm glad you're not ready, Kyle, but marriage is good, and you need to get married. Listen, Kyle,
I believe it's
this
good.
is what pisses me off, Ricardo, is because we need them as a community. Like, they were beneficial to the Black community. They were beneficial. I don't care what was going on behind closed doors. They were beneficial to see. I know white people that look up to them as like, so we like, that was good. That was good for us. And I don't like this younger generation getting this idea that like, oh, bad marriage for life, if that's all I can have, I just don't need to, like, no, Kyle, you get married to the darkest woman you can. You get married to her, and you don't cheat. I'm not playing, because listen, Rich Kyle, my little young little brother, my educated Rich Kyle, I need you to marry a Black woman, but a woman. Black woman, but
that's for sure.
Marry her and be good to her. And don't get that impression.
Oh, you about Black love.